6%ers, good morning. We finally got out of
Good morning.
Tuscany.
Hello, 6%ers. Marco, where should I look? There. Where? No, excuse me, because it's far away, so I feel
Over
like
there,
screaming.
cameras here. You don't have to shout. We finally come out of Tuscany, and we're on the Bonette Pass, the highest pass.
Riddle, what's going through now? A Ducati. Oh, it's a KTM. Sorry, Marco. Am I interrupting you? Please, please, go ahead. It's an Africa Twin, you see, the new fashion. Go on, Marco, please.
6%ers, we finally come out of Tuscany, and today we take you to the Bonette Pass, the highest pass.
GS.
Come on, Ale, for FK's sake. 6%ers, good morning, good the third, and let's see if you let me talk. We are here on the Col de la Bonette. We finally got out of Tuscany. The highest pass in the Alps, 2,700 broken meters. We are here to do a nice little service. Can you say little service?
But come on, not really.
At Brixton Cromwell, 1,200. You will say, but what the heck is Brixton? Who ever heard of it? In fact, Brixton is one of the youngest brands that just came out because the first bike was, let's say, designed in 2014. And this specifically is the first one over 500 in displacement, the first 1,200 that the company produces, a company owned by KSR of Austria, who also has the Lambretta and Malagudi brands, among many. This bike is designed from the ground up, and now Ale will explain a lot of details that you won't find in other bikes. It's called the Cromwell 1200. Cromwell named after Oliver Cromwell, to remind you of the English memory that Ale knows very well that it's...
He's a friend of mine. I call him meanwhile on WhatsApp. I send him messages. Marco.
Lord Protector, I know because I read it first on Wikipedia. Now I will also say it wrong. Lord Protector of the Commonwealth, who created the Commonwealth. Anyway, having said that. So it is a bike with English soul. The name Brixton, which is the name of a neighborhood precisely in London, says so. The design also is very reminiscent of English classic motorcycles. And it has an Austrian soul anyway, although, and you're all going to ask this, and we'll tell you right now, the engine and all the assembly is made in China. And you don't always have to tear your hair out when something is made in China, because you'll see now in this video that there are so many things that European motorcycles envy.
You did great. What do I do? Can I go away?
Thank you.
You did a hell of an intro.
A hell of an intro.
Bravo. In recent years, the modern classics, so a classic style, however a modern bike anyway, with a vintage style, they have as a characteristic that they are no longer motorcycles with a heavy ride as it used to be. No, Marco. You remember the old bikes like the V7, the 750 from the old days? It was a little bit heavier bike to ride. Now they're actually nakeds, they ride very sporty, they're also quite stiff, and they have a lot of handling. So there remains the look, the style, the taste of the vintage bike, but with absolutely very, very good rideability.
And also a very bad engine, this one.
And also a very, very bad engine. An engine that is really very aggressive. Yes, because the 80 horsepower developed by this somewhat peculiar engine, which we'll see in detail later, has, by the way, with the sport map, it really becomes very...
Here, let's face it, I'm talking about the infotainment part. It has a beautiful TFT at the hardware level, beautiful, in the sense that it's beautifully integrated at the aesthetic level because it's circular, with two maps, an eco map, and a sport map. Then it has cruise control as standard, which is something you don't normally find on a classic, and it also has the ability to take off traction control.
All useless stuff, Marco, let's face it.
Traction is pretty useless unless you want to do wheelies, although I have to say that actually maybe if we want to be able to use more of the aggressiveness of the engine, maybe it's better to take it off. I haven't taken it off yet except to do the show.
No, but actually apart from the old biker jokes like me, which I would therefore remove all the electronics, actually no, the maps are still useful. The traction control at the end, you may need it in phase. In the mountains like this, you find some gravel. It can also help you know anyway, but mostly this bike has the slipper clutch, which is a pretty hard thing to find. It did, by the way, get in there earlier on braking and whatever. So chassis-wise, these electronic features help modern cycling in a classic style. Let's move on to the touch video. But now, Marco, some seriousness, 5 minutes of seriousness to explain and evaluate this bike technically. So, okay, the TFT, we said it, the full LED headlight anyway round, obviously for the type of bike, the traditional fork with bellows. The fork, by the way, is a Kayaba. So anyway, it has a really important name. The calipers are Nissan, and it has the 18-inch rim, just in modern classic style. A rim that is little used in motorcycles, tends to be rode on the 17, if not the 19 for maxis.
Can I say one
Even
thing?
two.
Has a bit of bobber style.
That has a little bit of bobber style, has a little bit of bobber style. The rim, alas, is inner tube and not tubeless, but this is unfortunately a fairly common thing in this type of bike. The cooling, here it is with this radiator hidden by a nice plastic bulkhead. The frame, I love tube frames, you see, composed of the bolt on top, and it has the double cradle underneath. If we then show it as a thing, look how nice that is. Also the manifolds, which are really gigantic, very, very big. Now I don't touch them because here my skin will stuck to them. Marco, I was going to point out to you that you got to the bottom of the tires, rubbing the foot pegs. So let's try to drop the pace a little bit, but especially the inline twin. You guys know that I don't like inline twins, but in this case, as in the case of Triumph and so on and so forth, I love the fact that we have these two fin twins which simulate, because clearly liquid-cooled, air-cooled, I find them wonderful. The special feature of this bike, we see it now right away, is the chain, crown, and sprocket on the right side. So that leads me to think I have no memory now of an engine 1,200 used on other bikes with the chain on the right side. I would have to think about it, but frankly I can't think of it, so I think just it's an engine. Specifically done for this Cromwell, beautiful. The fuel injection compartment is covered by the crankcase. Look at that beautiful, what a special feature that it also has. And the X that means precisely Brixton, repeated on so many accessories that we then go to see. Even on the foot pegs, you see on the foot peg rubber, there is precisely the X for Brixton. It is very much attention to detail on this bike. So the rear frame, which does this very, very nice ride, and the rear foot pegs embulinated, not welded on the frame. So these are really exceptional things. Clearly the double shock absorber, a tad stiff, but we didn't have time to play with the one adjustment, the spring preload, for a moment. What I really like a lot is this rear tail, this fender that forms a tail. To me, it reminds me a lot of the Yamaha VMAX. I find it really beautiful. It's nice, the headlight, beautiful, the metal label applied on it. Less nice, we like the somewhat plastic material of the seat, although it's actually pillowy and not heat sealed, so that's a pro, however, we found a bit. Right? Because it's a little stiff, eh, Marco?
With a few kilometers will give up. The problem with the stiffness of the saddle is that we did 480 kilometers yesterday anyway. Dear friends, good morning. We are about to leave with the Brixton.
Anyway, my GS consumes like a leaf. Then explain to me how come we went to France to try a bear bike naked.
No, here is to take the picture, Al, the cackle in bed. Come on, the weather is nice. The sun is coming out, come on. I didn't have any problem, I only drove it. It's this corner, the corner here, you show it LA. I don't see where I have my finger, this corner here. Which is a little bit so sharp, and so it cuts the legs a little bit. Otherwise, we did 480 kilometers without any kind of problem.
Nice thing, actually, it is the tank finally in metal, and another time on the cap, the logo.
The cap is beautiful.
We find the Brixton logo. I love this thing here in all the bikes when there is the beautiful matte black paint plates. Another time the logo, the Brixton lettering you can see. Above the riser, the particular key with anti-theft chip, and now the very useless TFT that Marco will explain.
I'll show you what it can do if this is the only bike I found that can change the two maps it has even while you're accelerating. That is, you don't have to take the throttle off to put them on. You press the mod button on the handlebars, but now I can't show you because, no, it works instead. Here in this is sport mode. You see it changes on the display. If we hold it down again, nothing happens. I didn't really understand the sense of when it does and when it doesn't, honestly. Back in eco mode, we see that we have a little bit more information, including partials, mileage totals, and here we have the button again in the left block for cruise control that you just hold down to activate it. Here you can see it here in the icon in the middle, and then as you go, you press it and it turns green. One button, just super simple. It has the 4 arrows, something that a lot of bikes don't have, like my KTM. And in addition, in the right block, it has this button that is called ASR that just disables the traction control. I just said hello to Ali. Since I'm extra early, I want to try the adventure ride option. So I select the destination. I select adventure. Here I can choose the degree of adventure. You see more or less adventure. I hope it will avoid the dirt roads anyway. It's not that there are big variations. These... These are definitely the roads where this bike excels. The mix somewhat fast with open curves, very nice. I didn't know this DN7 road from Cannes to San Rafael. Here it's full of motorcyclists going at full throttle. The good thing is that here in France you have to have homologated gloves, and then people ride in short shorts. Duralex, said Lex. Anyway, for this road, the DN7, I have to thank the Garmin Zumo because he is the one who brought me here. I don't think there was any other road. Usually when I arrive in this area I am late, so I never have time, however well. Now I'll tell you about her, about the Brixton. On this road here she's doing well, although as you see I'm filing the foot pegs a little bit. She's a little low, as Ale said. She's a little bit low, so she tends to touch a lot when you make turns. However, she's exceptionally nice and to ride. She's very nice even in this fast mix, and she definitely performs well. Guys, among Brits we understand each other. Class is class. I'm back from France and I'm back in that of Chianti. Yesterday I did 600 kilometers, of which 599 under the rain. All of it all on the highway because I know it's terrible, but I was leaving at 1 o'clock and had to arrive by evening, so I arrived on time.
I never called you, by the way.
So now I can tell you with all the peace of mind in the world the things I liked about this bike and the things I alas did
How long did you keep it, Marco?
We kept it. We have, because I like to use this plural that I always use LA too, for exactly 10 days, and we did, because some of it I also did with you who were with the GS though, more or less 1,500 to 2,000 kilometers.
Did you have
Absolutely.
aperitifs or not?
Having said that, the things that I like, definitely the engine, that besides aesthetically being very nice and very distinctive with the right chain like the old Triumphs, has a really nice thrust. In sport mode it has a really very, very nice sound, that aspirated sound, and it has it nice.
He has it handsome. Hi, he has it handsome. Sorry.
It has it handsome when it has to have it handsome. The double entendres are wasted in the sense when these bikes have to show off. That is at low RPM, at low revs, yes, exactly. Impeccable aesthetics,
Very
beautiful
nice.
bike, beautiful exhausts, beautiful engine to look at.
The color
gray
is essential.
color, in my opinion, is not really
Do not
the
you like?
best. No, because these bikes have to have colors a little bit more. It's very nice. More gray, but you have to have a little bit of... I'm not kidding, because these bikes have to be a little bit more flashy. It fits, though. It fits. Perhaps the coolest thing is the tank cap, which is stunning, with the Brixton logo, but really nice, done right. I mean, you don't get the idea of...
Yes, but too many compliments, Marco. Boring. Say something negative.
The saddle, which at first we said was very stiff.
Marco,
is
what are
starting
you
to fall
talking
off
about?
and is decently comfortable, especially in the part there where LA is touching, which is the part that follows the vagina a little bit. Then...
So you accept the saddle?
I accept it like this. Rear, which Al will now show us springing. The rear, as you can see, is very stiff, and that is a bit of a negative note. We should try to adjust it a little bit, which we haven't had time to do. The fork also is slightly hard, not helped by the Pirelli tire, which in the wet is too scary. With the last negative things I can... The first is the controls, because the controls, besides being ugly, the horn button is backwards. So if you don't study it, I'm a little bit taken aback by the fact that you have to push it inward. This is the first bike I've seen that has the controls like that. And the last thing is the TFT, which at the hardware level is not easily readable because it's made slightly convex. So the water, when it rains, stays on top, and anyway, it's always under various reflections of light. You always see it very badly. And at the software level, it's really complicated, because in eco mode, you have all the information like partials, which there is only one. Not two, like all the bikes. The kilometers, the time, all this information here in a very small field in the middle in favor of a very big hand that gives the speed. Whereas in sport mode, the speed becomes digital, that is, with numbers, and it loses all other kinds of information in favor of a tachometer that serves absolutely no purpose. It can't even rev off this bike, so it doesn't serve to change anything.
Sorry, Marco, there is a question I want to ask you, but why, as they wrote us, because there is a lot of curiosity about this bike, why, as they always write us, I have to spend 11,000 euros for this bike here when I could buy a Triumph?
So first of all, no one is telling you that you have to spend anything. You buy motorcycles on your gut and you have to like them. Certainly an equal category of this bike is the Bonneville Triumph T120, the only 1002 in this category.
Could we put the Guzzi on it, in your opinion?
Is it an 850?
It doesn't fit, no.
Is it smaller in displacement? Is it a different kind of motorcycle? Even if the concept of a motorcycle is that, this one certainly goes harder than an 850.
Well, yes, I think it does.
83 horsepower, that's not a lot. It is exactly like the Scrambler we use, the ATE. In fact, the engine pushes exactly like that. It has no holes, no delivery problems. It's a good engine. The problem was telling me precisely why one should buy this bike here. Compared to a Bonneville T120, it costs 3,400 less. And 3,400 starts to be a fair amount of money with which you can buy bags with it, buy a windshield, and maybe even change the handlebars, which
the handlebars are too narrow for me. Too narrow.
Aesthetically beautiful but uncomfortable. 150 euros for the handlebars is needed. Come on. 150 euros for the handlebars to have them slightly wider and set back, or just cornering, not risers, of course. A fairing, a bag holder, and this becomes a bike that you can safely use for traveling.
Was the controversy also about the sales network?
Sales network. This is an absolutely interesting question that we can explore in some live Telegram.
Absolutely, yes. What Telegram? Telegram, no Telegram. We send us the videos. TikTok.
Anyway, on their site you can find the sales network. You would definitely buy an absolutely original bike that nobody has. An exclusivity. And exclusivity is something that I think you pay for. Exclusivity pays off. You don't
yes,
pay
pay back,
it.
pay back.
Pay off.
Pay back.
And with extreme disappointment, I would say, known.
Already with extreme disappointment. No, I just wanted to say that I really like it. I didn't ride it much on the Col de la Bonette. I rode it. I liked it a lot. And my feelings, Bonette. For the first time in history, maybe we have a little bit the same judgment. And so we don't have to, we're not going to beat ourselves up. So if we agree, I'm sorry, but with extreme disappointment, we salute you. Bye-bye, beautiful people. Bye-bye.
Bye.